And then he said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills.
I can't catch a break, guys.
Yeah.
Get them the fuck away from me. I can't be around those guys.
People think, oh, well, cleaning your room, that's just a cliche. It's like, yeah, really, eh? Just go ahead and try it.
If people had any idea how powerful sleep is for healing from anything, and the fact that it's free.
My mind is absolutely bulletproof, solid as a rock.
Podcast. What's up, guys? This is session number 3 of our podcast on embracing intuitive eating and a journey to food freedom. The last couple of times we went over self-reflection and exploring your body image. Next, we're going to be talking about the principles of intuitive eating, rejecting the diet mentality, honoring your hunger, making peace with food, and challenging the food police. Hopefully we get through all that today. We'll see what the crack is after that.
I also have things to get through, so we've a lot to get through.
What are you going to get through?
What did we say last night? I've got a... What do I have?
Are we working off 2 different sheets?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Well, again, it's all just different notes on...
It's all just principles.
Listen, they're all just principles, right? Go on, but we'll blast through your stuff.
Okay, so low-key, kind of forget what the exact last thing we were talking about. It was something about Chris Bumstead and his majestic mustache. But the principles of intuitive eating, reject the diet mentality. Okay, so understand the negative effects of diet and diet culture. So what do you think the negative effects of diets and diet culture are?
The negative effects of diet and diet culture. Actually, I have a list of that exact thing right here. So I think we covered a little bit of this last week, so I'll pick up where I think that we didn't. So in ignoring individual difference would be a big thing. So obviously there's an awful lot of differences from person to person. You know, not everybody, what is it? Everybody's run the same race, but not everybody's the same car, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, everybody's kind of coming at things from different starting points, different places. And yes, obviously everybody's looking to cross the finish line, but you know, everybody's different. Everybody responds different to different things. You know, some people might absolutely love meat and protein and they just really love it, and that's just what they do. It's second nature to them. You can't have your protein. You must be joking me. I'm overeating protein or whatever it is. And then other people, it's like, you know, they just don't have an appetite. Some people have massive appetite. Some people are traumatized. Some people are unorganized. Some people are, you know, super restrictive
Stressed and busy.
Yeah, some people have loads of commitment. Some people have no commitment. Some people are super free to the point where they have absolutely no structure or routine at all. And some people are absolutely wound to the wire and haven't got a spare minute, and if they slip up once, the whole thing falls apart. And you know, it's like, so everybody really is coming from a different place, which I feel like is super important. But you know, one of the things about everybody being in a different place is that you're going to have to figure it out for yourself, and that's going to look different for everybody else. And that's kind of obviously one of the benefits of coaching, is that you can work with somebody to kind of, you know, bring up your objections to, you know, why you are successful last week and just try and come up with solutions and try and figure it out. Because again, it's not a straightforward thing. Although CICO, calories in, calories out, is the biggest factor for weight loss, which is the big thing that many people struggle with. It's like, you know, why you can't manage to sustain a consistent calorie deficit is going to be different for everybody, and that's a big.
What are some reasons? So I would say the reasons most people can't is unconscious eating. That would be, I think, number 1. Food addiction might be number 2, and ignorance would probably be number 3.
Okay, I actually have a very interesting point on this, and I was looking to bring it up. I'm not sure if I brought it up last week.
I thought it was interesting.
I thought it was interesting. So I was talking to somebody, and what happened was we were talking about their target, and their target was something like 12 or 1400 calories, which was, for this person, wasn't an awful lot. I said, how long have you been on 1200 calories? They're like, for like the last 8 months. I said, all right. So have you not lost the weight then? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I know. I was like, I need you to know though. You're not on 1200 or 1400 calories if you haven't lost any weight, based on your BMR and your activity levels and how active I know you are. Like, you are not on those calories. And she's like, oh yeah, I know I'm not on them, but when I am on them, I'm on them. I'm like, all right. I was like, so how often are you able to implement 1,200 to 1,400 calories? And they say, oh, like I only do it for a couple of days and I fall off. Boom. You're not on 1,200 or 1,400 calories in. If you were to actually track your food, those are the calories that you're on. So what you're telling me, in fact, is that your diet plan is for 12 or 1,400 calories, but the calories you're actually on is maintenance, because we can look at your weight and we can assume that you're on maintenance calories because your weight hasn't changed at all really over the last 6 months, which is good. You're not in a pattern of overeating, which is good. But in order for you to lose the weight that you want to lose, you're going to need to kind of pull back the calories. So here's what we can do: we can feed you 1,600 calories, see how it fares for 6 weeks, and report back. The person said, I actually can't eat all those calories. I'm eating now somewhere of 14 to 1,500 calories, and I've actually lost more weight in the last 3 weeks than I have all year. Woohoo! Big success. And so it's a false. It's a it's a falsity to say that you're on 1,200 or 1,400 calories. You're not losing weight on 1,200 or 400 calories. You would lose loads of weight on 1,200 1,400 calories. The real issue is that you are not able to adhere to 1,200 or 1,400 calories for any period of time. Therefore, that diet isn't working for you because you absolutely hate those poverty calories. And so that was that. Interesting, wasn't it?
It is. I think that is an excellent example of the scarcity mentality absolutely destroying your progress. So if you are restricting too much, well, then all of a sudden you're in this famine mode. And when you're in this famine mode, and you should be in the famine mode, you should be starving yourself. Well, then you do all your secret eating, you do all your little ignorant calories, all the stuff I mentioned before. So I think when you're in a scarcity mindset and you restrict too much, I just see it all the time. Like I used to think when I first got into this, I was immune to all the little tricks. All the once I was able to outthink it or out rationalize the urge to overeat or outthink my way around that sort of restrict mentality. And you can, but only if you're incredibly present for weeks at a time. Like as soon as you lose that presence, as soon as you lose that and you start becoming a little bit unconscious and you start acting out of habit or anything like that, or you start acting out of impulses, you're it's hard to manage.
I'm not sure if I told you this before, but I thought it was very interesting. I'm not sure if you actually did end up experiencing it, but I remember talking to you because I had done maybe not last year, but the year before. I think I did 4 or 5 Kickstarters in a year. Guys, current Kickstarter happening now. Up. So Kickstarter, essentially, for those who don't know, is we essentially put people on a calorie target that for them personally, it's going to work out that they lose 6.3 kg in 6 weeks. And I did that maybe I was a little bit lighter than I am now, but so I was relatively lean, healthy, and I was going to get pretty lean. And one thing that I noticed was that the leaner I got, the hungrier I got. I for talk's sake, a regular order for us in Domino's when we did get it, if we got it, would be a thin base pizza or Italian base. I'm not sure which what you call it, but it was a thin base. I remember Chloe was big into Domino's. I didn't really like Domino's; it was so stodgy. So we ordered a thin base, and it was a game changer. Yeah, it's just all dough, just 90% dough, which I didn't like. And so we got a thin base, and I literally half a pizza each, maybe a garlic bread and chicken kickers or something like that, and that would do us that was our order. We might have got it every 2 weeks for 12 weeks. So we knew what we were getting, and I knew how I responded to it. And when I was about 4 weeks into the Kickstarter and decided to have a little cheat meal, I was gone. It literally felt like my mouth was bigger and my stomach was wider. I ate it, the time in which I ate it, halved. So my appetite and ability to eat and how satisfied I was while in low calories went up. And I thought that was really, really interesting. I remember saying it to you when you were cutting weight for boxing. You were like, oh, this is super, super easy. This is no problem at all. I was like, oh, well, the leaner you get, for me anyway, the harder it gets. And I suppose the thing that the point that I'm trying to get across here was that I had an experience one time when I was, again, kind of unconscious, when I was in my deficit calories, and I was dialed in, I was not trying to fuck around. There was no cheating, no this, no the other, no rationalizing. And when I was putting my peanut butter on my bagel, and again, I eyeball an awful lot of stuff, but I knew I was due like a tablespoon, but not a heaped tablespoon or like anything crazy. It's like this is what I'm allowed. The tendency to absolutely heap this shit out of that tablespoon was like it was like an instinct.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
was like unconsciously I was digging deeper because like I was just running from a hunger. My body was like, come on, the calories, as opposed to like, oh, this is just like spread. It was like an instinct, like an urge, like get that, and it made it onto the toast. Like I started unconsciously overeating my calories just because
Well,
my body.
I'd say at a certain point, there's like the thing that I think is important to be aware of is that at some point it becomes conscious, and then you sort of like hide
Oh
your head and you don't really
no,
want to
but
look
yeah,
at it.
no, but yeah, my point is though, like it, like I
The impulse is there. The impulse is there, and understanding the impulse and the impulse manifest, like you're aware of the behavior, but maybe not the
yeah.
impulse or maybe you're aware of the impulse and not how it's manifesting as a behavior. Does that
Like
like I think?
it was like I was watching myself do it,
Hmm.
and I wasn't intentionally I didn't seek out to put it on, but like I noticed I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like I like because for like 4 weeks up to that, it was the same tablespoon, but it's like, oh, like I noticed I was like, oh, I'm getting hungry now, this, that, the other. I was like, oh, it's very interesting how my body's reacting to this low calorie mode. It's like it's going, well, actually, we like 70 kilo. This extra tablespoon of butter is going to help you maintain 70 kilo. That's where we're at. And so it's like
Yeah.
everything just in an attempt to go maintenance. Let's maintain. Let's maintain. We're too low. We're too light. We're too lean. And like your body wants to be there. I just thought that was interesting. Maybe that's just another way or a long-winded way of saying I was hungry, so I was eating more. But how it felt was very like I was been very aware because I didn't plan on facking around at all. Like it wasn't like as if I just decided, oh fuck, I'll have more peanut butter. It was like it felt like something else.
Yeah, I think that's very important to understand that like your body can act in ways like that. There's a cool thing. There's a book I'm listening to now called The Happiness Hypothesis, and one of the things, and I was reading this book by what is it? BKS Iyengar's Light on Yoga as well. And they have the two concepts sort of like match up, and it's because of our modern thinking, because we don't like ride horses or anything like that anymore, we have a very like if this then that mentality. So like if you have a car and you turn it, it's going to go in that direction. Do you get me? Like it's like it does exactly what you tell it to, and we expect our bodies to be the same, and we make that like modern people are very very like that. But back in the day, we actually used to not think like that. We used to be like riding horses, and it was like you kind of ask the horse, you're like, "Come on, let's go this way," and you have to kind of wait for it to respond. It's like if you're like riding a horse, you're heading straight for a cliff. Do you get me? Like if you're in a car, you go straight off the cliff. But if you're on a horse, the horse is like, fuck that, I'm not going off the cliff, and the horse will do its own thing. Yeah.
That's a great that's very insightful. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so in that book, it mentions that and how our behaviors and how our mindset and stuff like that is impacted by our bodies as an animal and not as a car. You know, it's not just a thing where you just go set and go. It's like, nah.
And that's what you were talking about.
Process.
That's what you were talking about when you were saying that you thought you could outthink it.
Yeah.
Oh, listen, I know where the gear stick is. I'm going to indicate my way out of this. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Are you?
Exactly. So like I think that's very important to understand that you're not a robot. You're an animal. Whether you're religious or not, whatever it is, like you have biology, you have like instincts, you have impulses, you have all these little needs that have to be like micromanaged and sorted out, or they will usually manifest themselves either consciously or unconsciously in different behaviors. And I think if you just expect yourself to be a robot, you're like, I guarantee you're going to lose that game.
One of the things that I do every single morning, like, and it might seem so small, but if any guys ever want to live with me, here's what it's like. I walk around the house in a constant state of earphone in. Like I just love listening to stuff. I love it. Like I just love. I don't. It calms me. Maybe I don't want to listen to myself. I just kind of find it boring or whatever like that. Can't be a piece of myself. Everybody help. But no, I just really find.
We'll have a chat after this, Brandon.
No, we're not having any chats. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm fine. You're fine. Everybody's fine. Everything's fine. one thing that I really love, I really like listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, to David Goggins, to an audiobook, to whatever YouTube channel. I love to be entertained. I find that it like again, it really puts me in a good mood. And so a big negotiation, and it's not really a negotiation anymore because it like I have to do it in order to get paid. But like getting up out of bed at stupid o'clock in the morning, I could do it and I could force myself to do it and I could have no phone and no this and no that and whatever. And over time, I'm sure I'll get used to it. But for me personally, I love to negotiate with myself. Like I am a negotiator and I find that I'm very fair to myself. And one of the things that I do is like I'll set up my earphones and my phone so that when I get up in the morning, I've got something that I look forward to doing. And I don't just get up. Just get fucking up and just fucking deal with it. It's like, listen, we're gonna get up, we're gonna put in our podcast, we're gonna watch YouTube videos listen to a YouTube podcast, a comedy podcast, whatever it is, and brush our teeth. And so it's like, but that's something I've actively done in order to make me look forward to getting up. And I find that there's so many little carrot and stick things that you can do. Like now, to be fair, like there's loads of mornings that my earphones are dead or I didn't set them up and I get up and it's fine. But because I've put that habit in place, it's like I'm now well into the routine now that it's like it's not a chore anymore. You know, that sort of way. And so
yeah, well, the carrot and stick analogy is really, really, really good. Like you do have to coach yourself like that. Like there is a thing like conscientiousness and orderliness and industriousness, or they all vary in let's say intensity in people. Like it's on a scale of 1 to 100. So some people are not very conscientious. They don't work hard. They're not disciplined. Like they're just not. It's not in them. Do you get me? They don't care. They're not like that. And those people, you do have to sort of like maybe carrot and stick it a little bit, and like to come at it with an approach of like just more discipline, just be like that with them is like it's not going to work. It won't. It will work until a point. It'll work until a point, especially if you've loads of validation at the end of it. There's a wee bit of a carrot for you.
I was saying, but I feel like I think me and you had this conversation before about discipline. Like I think discipline is a very important thing, but I feel like discipline doesn't just look like just fucking do it. Like for me, the discipline is to have the phone charged, to have the earphones ready, and it's like and to have something that I look forward to doing. It's like that's in my book is like that's discipline. It's like for me, the discipline for me is knowing myself well enough to set the alarm 40 minutes ahead of the time so that way I know that I'm going to get up in 40 minutes as opposed to just get up when the first alarm goes. It's like, listen, that's how you want to run your day, that's fine. It's like I like to get started. I'm the kind of person who likes to turn on my car and have it warm by the time I get into it. That's me. If that's not you, that's cool. You don't have to do that. If you sit in the cold car and I don't even need gloves. It's like,
so yeah, I'm not trying to say that like it's your ability to put up with suffering, but I also like to care. Like some people they just don't care. Do you know? They just don't care. Yeah, it's not in them. So you like it's not a thing where like they wouldn't care to set the alarm in the morning, wouldn't care to do it, but like they might need something external rather than internal to help get them to do it, to build a habit, and then once they establish a habit and then an identity, well then like it's not like just because you're not conscientious doesn't mean you can't learn the skills of someone who's conscientious. Like it's not like it's impossible for you. You still can, but it's just like like the same way creativity is a thing that is different in everyone. The same way agreeableness is different in everyone. Like everyone's different. I think that goes back to what we were saying earlier, where like the diet mentality, not the diet mentality, the negative effects of diet and diet culture. One of the main points is that it doesn't respect people's individuality, because it really doesn't. It's like a one size fits all thing. And like one of the first things you learn as a coach, or the first thing it says is that like, all right, see all that stuff, all the dogma about diets and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, okay, so like it's all wrong. Everyone's different, and everyone works for everyone. They're all different, like stat points, and like let's say cooking ability in terms of like how invested they are, the responsibility they have, the free time they have, the money they have to spend on different things. Like there's loads of different variables, and one of those variables is personality as well. And I think I forget my point. It was something along the lines of like discipline is really good, and it doesn't really work for everyone. And you need the carrot and the stick to help pull you along, sometimes more than others.
So yeah, something I just want to kind of ask is, I suppose we're coming at this. Maybe there's a presupposed idea. Maybe we already covered it and I forgot it. But the question is, diet culture doesn't respect everybody's differences. It's like, is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why do you feel like that's true?
Well, tell you what, define diet culture first. So my definition of diet culture is you look for the diet, you're looking for the solution to your problem, and the problem is either intermittent fasting, keto, low carb, carnivore, calories in, calories out, like fuck, vegan, vegetarian, fruitarian, like all the different, let's say, modalities where you're looking for the one that will fix you. Do you get me? But the one that will, like the intermittent fasting thing, it's just like don't eat from here to here. But then there's more nuance to it as well. Like there's literally intermittent fasting coaches. There's literally coaches who try and coach people through intermittent fasting because it's a behavior and like all that sort of stuff as well. But like all intermittent fasting is like don't eat your breakfast in the morning from like don't eat up until 12 o'clock and then stop eating after 6. It's very, very simple. And that might work for you, but then it doesn't like there's a load of other habits that aren't being fixed, and it might not necessarily need to be fixed. But it's like the one size fits all solution. Do you get me? Like that. Don't eat at 12. Don't eat up until 12, and then eat from 12 till 6. Is a one size fit all thing, and that doesn't really work for someone who is, let's say, doing shift work or like it doesn't take the individuality
I
of the person
understand.
into account.
So there are what you would refer to as dogmas. Is that what you kind of said? That's
Yeah.
kind of like a dogma.
Yeah.
But where is this culture coming? Like, who's pushing this culture? Like where, like the diet culture?
I would say marketing and business. Everyone like, so the culture is basically around like everyone's fat, and because they're fat, everyone needs to lose weight, and you need to be healthy. And if you're not, you're kind of a bad person. And here's all the different solutions to solve that problem.
And who's pushing it? The fitness industry. Is that kind of what we're getting at?
No, well, it's not like a conspiracy. It's not like a conspiracy.
That's what I'm saying, exactly. Yeah. So it's just the way it seems to be the common trend of the culture, like people's. But that's the question I'm asking. It's like where is this diet culture coming from? Like what's the source of it? Is this just kind of like a natural, like, because I feel like quite personally, like it's getting better, it's improving. I think we said this in the last podcast. Like back in the 90 days, you were on about what did you say? Something about the skinny chic. Did somebody say this?
Oh, heroin chic.
Heroin chic, genius. But it's so again, yeah, like it's like, but that's kind of what it looks like. It's like, yeah, it's like absolutely skinny to bits was essentially the solution of the time. An apple a day is all that you're eating. And that's apples and chewing gum.
Like a culture, yeah, but it's like again culture. There's like I would say it's also wrong to say that like there's one specific diet culture. Like there is a general diet culture, but like it depends on where you are in the world and all that sort of stuff. Like back in the day, it used to be like if you're fat, you're healthy. If you're really fat, it was like because you got all the money, you can eat more than you need. So everyone was looking at the fat people being like, I want to be like them.
Yeah,
that's what they were like. Hey, get some meat in them bones. Like if you're looking for a wife or whatever, it'd be like the wife. You'd be looking for someone with a bit of weight on them.
But
Whereas,
that's
like, then it
I
went to heroin chic because the models are easier to design for and the clothes look better or something. Like it all depends. Then there's Victoria's Secret models and the butt started coming in a little bit. The hourglass figure started getting better, but then back in the 70s it was like that. Like it changed. Like the culture will change and it is very, very flexible. But the one that like marketing is the way. If you understand marketing, okay, marketing is basically like find a pain point and then solve that pain point. So what you have to do as a marketer is go like, hey, here's how you are in pain, and you have your specific people, wherever it is. Some of them aren't in that pain, so they just fucking swipe on by. Someone who is in pain, they go like, that resonates with me. Here's my problem. Oh my God, they understand me so well. And if they understand me so well and my problem so well, and this solution works for them, well, then maybe it will work for me. And because it works for them, maybe it'll work for me. I'm going to buy their program, and then I'm labeled with that problem. Do you get me? And this is the solution. And if it doesn't work for them, well, then they're a bad person. So then try a different one. There's like a negative cycle that way. Or what could happen is they do follow that plan. It works for them, and then they become basically an evangelist for that new system, for that, like, let's say keto. It's like, I was on keto, it was fucking great, I lost my weight, it's class, and now I have to eat keto my whole life. Kind of sucks. I wish I could eat all my other stuff with my friends, but I'm a keto guy now. This worked for me. I'm telling you guys, it's the best. And like, that's one of the things that's bad with diet culture. That's what I think. It's more complicated.
Should we keep going down this road? Well, maybe we can. Let's, before we put a definitive end to it. Would it be more productive now at episode 3 of this series to maybe start, and maybe we have done that a little bit already, but like start coming at it with a solution now. Like what does a good diet culture look like? Maybe we've kind of talked about the negative points, and maybe it's a little bit obvious, but it's like, it's like what is the culture? Because I feel personally, based on my Instagram feed, which is kind of all I have to go by of the culture of the day, and obviously, but I feel like maybe the online culture is shifting. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like the online culture is shifting, that there's more information out there. People are kind of starting to get it. It's like, listen, it has to be sustainable. It has to be tasty. If you want to build muscle, it has to be high protein. If you want to lose fat, it has to be low cal. Here's all the different tips, hacks, and tricks to get it. Find your plan, make it your own. And there's all the people who just haven't got that message still catching up. And I feel like we are hitting the apex of it, because I feel like now the lay person now, at least of the new generation coming up, everybody's in the gym. Like it's like if you're not in the gym, it's like, listen, good luck on the sexual marketplace, as they say. It's like, because it's like, as I said, what is it now? If it was heroin chic, it's like now it's gym chic. It's like like girls need to like be quote unquote toned, lads need to have abs and like be ready for Ibiza. It's like near enough 365, and I feel like that's never been more achievable than ever before, because the information is out there. It's like,
but also like there again, there's lots of that stuff there. Like what you're saying, it sounds like you're. I don't think I think that's your experience with the internet now. I'm familiar with that experience as well, but I don't think that's true for everyone. I think everyone is in their own echo chambers, and I think the internet is getting more and more and more individualized per person. So like, and there's this thing. It's like, if I know something, I like intuitively expect everyone else to know what I know.
Yeah.
But like, they have no idea. Like, they could have been worlds apart, and I think that's what's happening with what you're saying right now. And then I think what you said later about Joe, if you're not in the gym now, you're missing out, or you're Joe, good luck in the sexual marketplace. It's like, I think that's also like part of the negative thing for the diet culture, because Joe, I think you should be fit and healthy, but I don't think you need to look like you've got BBLs. I don't think you need to have a six pack. I don't think you need to be absolutely ripped. I think Joe, you should want to go to the gym to develop yourself physically. I think you should. I think that's the thing that people should do. I think there's people who can't do that. I think there's people who have different things, and some people just want to get a little bit more healthy, a little bit leaner.
There you go. I'm part of the problem.
No, but you're not. You're not part of the problem. Like, again, having high standards is also important as well. But at the same, like, see what I'm saying? Like this word, like, should, like you're a coach. You're a health and fitness coach. You know what I mean? That's who you are. Where it's like, you can't like should over everyone. You can't be like, you need to do this. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. It's like, if you want this, here's a solution. I think that's a better way of sort of presenting the position, because everyone has different lives, everyone has different experiences. Everyone's going through different stuff, and some people it's not their priority. Like, if someone's a chef and they want to eat food all day, the nicest food and all this sort of stuff. Like, it would be good if they worked out, but do they have to be lean? No. Like, so if you want to be jolly, be jolly. Do you know what I mean? It's I was going to bring up your man again. What's his name? The rapper and food guy who drives a Harley Davidson, big beard. Bronson, is it?
Action Bronson, yes.
Action Bronson. But you said he's in the gym now as well.
Yeah, he got into shape. That's what I love. It's like, because I kind of feel like I really like, what I really want for everybody is to find the balance. Like, I don't want anybody to forego the pleasure. But here's the issue, right? If you've sat there and enjoyed the pleasures of life for the last 12 years, here's what your spirit is lacking, is some challenge. It's like, in order for, and if all you've had is challenge, I would love for you to have some reprieve and some rest and some enjoyment and some holidays and some celebration. And I feel like if you can navigate your life, that it's like, imagine you were like absolutely kicking ass and grinding 5 days a week, and 2 days a week you're just absolutely like chilling out. It's like that to me is where I want to be at. It's like, I really want to suffer from 9 till 5, and between the other hours I want to be enjoying myself. It's like, that's literally balance to me. But I feel like in order to be healthy, you just kind of you really do have to tip the scales the other way. Like, because here's the thing, is that the weeds grow, and it's like, it's very easy to just go, like, going backwards is free, like rolling downhill is free, and it costs energy and resources to go up the hill. And it's like that's the hard part, and that's why people need inspiration. That's why you need the extra push, and that's why you need the motivational videos, and that's why you need the podcast and the education, because it will cost you nothing to go backwards. The vast majority of people are heading that way because of, like if you look at the statistics and the numbers and all that kind of stuff. But it's like I feel like, again, hopefully the culture is starting to shift to the point where it's like you need to own it for you. You got to start where you're at. You got to take the little challenges on every day. But it's not like nutrition anyway. It's like doesn't have to be miserable. The workouts might be miserable. They don't have to be. It's like they can be safe and sustainable, especially for beginners. But it's like in order to get to where you want to get, it's like you're going to have to sit on the side of, you're probably going to have to say no 7 times and yes 3 times. What do you think?
Find balance. Yeah, I think balance is it. Balance is another one.
Balance.
Balance. So like there is it. So balance. The reason why people try and promote balance, I think, is because they don't want the all or nothing mentality, which I think is good. But I also think there's this thing with yin and yang, and like yin is very like forceful, effortful energy, or yang is very forceful and
Yang, is it yang or yang or yang or yang?
Yang.
Yang. Yang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very forceful. It's like the sort of masculine energy, the very like
Aggression.
effortful. Yeah, exactly. Not even aggression, but it takes action. Do you get me? And yin is very passive and very like relaxing, and those two are basically like it's in everything. It's mad. It's in everything, like day and night and all this sort of stuff. Like it's in absolutely everything. But what I think is really good for it is your nervous system. Your nervous system has fight and it has rest and digest, or fight or flight and rest and digest. Those two nervous systems. And the more you fight and the more you're in flight and the more energy you spend and the more like ramped up everything gets, the greater your ability to rest is. And the greater your ability to rest, the more you rest, the more you recover, the greater your yang is. And I think going between those two is really good. And staying in the middle, I think, is where you let everything just sort of go by. I think that's the balance, is in like you tip it one way and you run back, you tip it the other way, you tip it the other way, you tip it the other way. And then some days, if you tip it too far one way and you don't tip it the other way, you start running yourself down. Does that make sense? And if you tip it too far the other way, so you stop making, let's say, progress or whatever it is. And I think it's important to find the balance between the two of them in that way, rather than just trying to settle in the middle and not push for either extreme. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I find
So
as well,
that's
like some people have a tendency, like again, we kind of talked about this, like let's say there is some people in a chronic state of restrict, and there's some people in a chronic state of binge, and again, it's like you're not in the balance, and that's kind of what. And it's like either way. It's like if you're overweight, it's like listen, you need to start restricting a little bit more. Just
exactly. Exactly.
Like, and if you're restricting loads, it's like listen, you need to start cutting a little bit looser.
So that's a very, very good point. So the analogy that I just made is actually like the exact opposite of what you want to do in that sort of mentality when it comes to nutrition. Because nutrition, I was on about mainly more effort and working out and being able to rest and recover and being able to put out energy. You want to develop very quickly. You work out really, really fucking hard and you rest like it's your job. But if you're doing that with nutrition and like burning the kind of like if you're like just be like eating loads and loads and loads of calories and then restricting like mad to balance it out, and then eating loads and loads of calories again and restricting like mad, you're not going to be able to recover. Your nutrition does need to be kind of steady.
So it's actually so funny though. It's interesting you say that, because you were probably, maybe I'm wrong, but like for me personally, it's like I was somebody who trained really hard for years and ruined it for myself. And what I needed to do in order to become the best possible athlete I could be was I needed to start doing Pilates and yoga and a lot of yin work, as opposed to all the yang, bang, bang, bang. And maybe for you, maybe you were a little bit lazier, and then like you started like working out really fucking hard. Am I wrong?
So what happened with that was I started going to bed on time, and I started going.
No, sorry, this is like we're talking teen years. Like, what was your like your natural proclivity when you were younger? Kind of just starting training. Like, did you pull back a little bit? Did you like?
No. Back when I was a teenager, I've always went through fucking cycles. I've always went through phases. Like I went through phases. Joe was like, Tiernan and Michael used to slag me. He was like, "Oh, you getting fit again? You never have any time to hang out." I'm like, "Yeah," because what I would do, my TY year. Here's what my TY year was like. Okay, I'd get up, I would go for a run before school. Go to school all day. It was TY, didn't give a shit. Didn't really care. All I could wait for was after school, I'd MMA. And then I would leave MMA and then go to boxing. And then I would go home and then do it all again the next day. And then the next day. And then the next day. I'd do that 5 days a week. That's what I would do.
And people ask, is like, why can Chris do so many push-ups?
Yeah, well, like, but that's what I would do, and that's what I wanted to do, because I wanted to be a bloody fighter. Like, that's what I want. And then the gym, the MMA place shut down. I was devastated. I was raging. But after that, Joe, you just sort of lose a little confidence, and then because you push so hard, then you get a break, then you get a party life, and then maybe you get a girlfriend, or then you start kind of like all these other things because you pull back from them so much, and then you actually embrace them. They feel so good. Do you get me? Like, it's like, oh, you want to go have fun? It's like, I've been missing out so much on this. Do you get me? And then all of a sudden you indulge too much in it, and then you haven't trained in ages, and then you have the barrier to get back into training, and because you're not as fit, you're not going to live up to the same standard you were before. You know, with boxing, you know, they're not living up to the same standard means you get punched in the head a lot more. You know, it's a fair bit of negative reinforcement for you there. So I think that's another thing for the whole, like, you know, all or nothing mentality. But what I thought you were getting at anyway, if the best way to do this, okay, if you want to train like fuck, you want to transform your body, you want to transform your mind, right? Get to bed on time, wake up at the same time every single day. When you wake up, first thing you do is go outside and go for a walk. Okay, the walk should be about 20 to 30 minutes long. If you can, an hour long. What that will do is that will, like, the full night's sleep, parasympathetic nervous system is going boom, we're recovered, we're good. But then when you go for the walk, you get to listen to an audiobook, you get to watch nature, whatever it is. It gives you peace. When, like, people have peace and quiet, to relax, it's like a safe space for them to retreat to. It gives them much more confidence to push out later on. So after your walk, then you get to go train. Like, you get bored walking, you get not bored, but like, you know, you have enough of, like, slow and easy. You're rested. You're like, all right, I have enough energy. Then we go back and spend it. And then you go spend the energy. And then after you spend the energy, so you recover, you get some food, and then you feel great. You have all these endorphins, whatever, and you can't wait to do it all over again. And but if you take that exact same situation, but you're underslept, and then it's not as good. It's not. You don't feel as enthusiastic about spending energy. You don't feel as enthusiastic about pushing yourself really, really hard. And I think that's why it's important to have that balance of pushing yourself really, really hard, but also being able to recover and have the energy for it. So I think that was mad L tangent. All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, so that was us basically reflecting on our personal experiences with it. Then identify alternative approaches to health and well-being. What alternative approaches are there?
Sorry. So we got through 1 point.
Yeah. It's been 40 minutes.
I love it. Right, what's the next one? Sorry.
Okay, so no, 2 points. 2 points.
Okay, bear in mind we've got like 10 minutes max here left.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are alternative approaches to health and well-being? What are the alternative approaches? Alternative approaches, so first one, find out what works for you. You need to find something that you enjoy, whether it's bike row ski, whether it's CrossFit, whether it's boxing, whether it's just going to the regular gym, whether it's fighting fit, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether gymnastics, rock climbing, whatever sort of activity. You're a human being, you're an animal, you need to move. Sitting in front of a computer screen or sitting down watching TV all day is not fulfilling. It's not going to give you enjoyment. It's not going to give you life satisfaction. So I'm going to just draw a hard line in the sand. Like, you shouldn't be fucking not doing anything with your body. You really should. There's me fucking saying shit again.
You should. Yeah,
it's like some sort of activity.
It's too much yin.
Yeah, too much yin, exactly. So you need a little bit of yin and yang. They all and you need to find out something that you enjoy, not something that like I'm saying you have to do. It's like, what do you actually like doing? If you're saying like, I don't like going for walks, you know, challenge that belief first, because walks are really relaxing. All right, and they're not hard at all. And if you have a walk for yourself and you need peace of mind or whatever it is one of the most enjoyable things you can do. And if you disagree with that,
you might be 6 stone overweight.
or your legs might not work very well. But what I would also say,
go for a roll if you're in a chair. You go for a roll. Just get moving. That's the saying. Low intensity activity. You know, maybe it's swim, maybe it's a roll, maybe it's Pilates, maybe it's yoga, whatever it is. But you got to do something low intensity. Get the cardio points up, and just get the blood pumping. Because again, your body's like an engine. You know, it's like you. Like, if you don't turn it on, it's just going to sit there and rust and go to shite. Because if you get the blood pumping, the blood flowing in the legs, that's, everything's moving, there's new blood up into the brain, into the legs. like oxygenated, you know, it's attached to some hormones, some endorphins, you're feeling good. But you're literally just sitting there and, you know, it's like nothing's really high energy and you're just very, oh, shit. It's just a low energy state the whole time. It's like, why would you be positive? How would you be motivated?
Exactly. No, exactly. Like you need some sort of momentum, and getting out for a walk as well. Though it wakes you up when you get sunlight in your eyes. Look up, go to another podcast, Andrew Huberman, and one of the things he says, like try and get sun in your eyes. Literally first thing in the morning, it'll wake you up. Like
Look directly into the sun first thing in the morning, everybody.
I wouldn't say that, but get some sunlight. So alternative approaches to health and well-being. Also, meditation is really, really good. Religion is also very, very good for loads of that sort of stuff as well, like going to church, going to mass, having some sort of like higher thing. Like well-being and spirituality are usually very, very interlinked, whether you're actually religious and you believe in a higher power, or if you're atheistic and you know, you just think you're a bunch of cells or whatever. Like meditation and giving yourself that like bit of peace, I think, is basically wellness, and will help you a lot too. And then the next thing, unless you have anything else to add to that,
I don't fully understand the question. What alternatives to what?
identify alternative approaches to health and fitness rather than just going to diet culture. So health and well-being. So like this whole like just like so diet culture essentially, and from my perspective, is like you need to get
good one,
need to get
yeah.
super lean. You get super lean, you get jacked.
Get a sport. Get a fucking sport. Become an athlete. It's like
Yes.
again, like the sport I've got massive in the last 2 years is ping pong. Not much of a sport. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like it's literally the most entertaining and fulfilling thing. It's like literally one of my favorite things for the day. And it's like it's unbelievable. I enjoy it. It's physical. Like after a year and a half, I finally got up to the point I could work up a good sweat playing ping pong. It's mentally and physically exhausting. It requires the best of me. It requires me to be well slept. You know, the better I like me and Peter, like we have this thing. It's like we can always tell who's doing well in life by who's winning on the court. It's like if I'm like, but no, but like not in terms of like achievements. Like if I'm not sleeping, if I'm stressed out, if I'm not looking after my nutrition, it's like if I'm running late to work, it's like if all these things aren't going well for me, it's like I'll just not be myself in the court. It's like me and Pete both dialed in. Pete starts gaining weight, you know, stops with the nutrition, stops going for the walks. It's like, hey Pete, guess who's winning easy today? Me. And so it's like to have a sport, maybe it's boxing, like again, like something for me personally, for you, Chris, is like that we always did. We had an identity as somebody who wanted to be a high level fighter. If you ever looked at a fighter, there's a certain way that they looked. You know, again, we can say all the kind of stuff about cutting weight and nutrition. It's like, you know, just bad strategies from uneducated young people, fair enough. But the aspiration to become an athlete and better ourselves like was not toxic. That was a very, very positive influence on me. And so if you want to be a better tennis player, if you want to be a better boxer, if you want to be a better runner, if you want to be if you wanted to get better at something, it's like the result comes as your goal comes as a result of a process. And so then you start going, okay, I want to be this. It's like, well, what inputs do I need in order to achieve that? Instead of going just looking at the inputs, like it's only the inputs. Like, listen, don't like just focus on trying to achieve your dream. And if you really start getting to the point where you love that hobby and passion enough, it's like the motivation will come from within. Instead of looking, it's like, how do I motivate myself to just, you know, try and track food? It's like, listen, if you don't really care, why would you? But it's like, if you know, you and Margaret are playing tennis on the court every week. You know, it's like, you know, it's starting to get a bit competitive, and like you know, you're carrying extra stones. If you drop that stone, listen, Margaret's going to be chasing you. You know, she's going to be running over that pitch. Margaret getting off and slow. Well, you know what? You know, it's like we want to stop going for that McDonald's trip after tennis if we want to start, you know, competing with Billy and Bob next door or whatever it is. It's like, you know, it's like it starts becoming innate to want to better yourself if you can have a passion. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm getting amped up now. You're just talking about tail dance. Let's go.
Invested. Yeah, I agree. So having a sport is a very, very good one. A very, 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 very good habit to have, or a good anchor in terms of your whole life. And it gives you an identity as well. That's what I think is really important. Identity is one of those things where it affects your behavior in mad ways that you don't even know. You really don't even know. And giving yourself a reputation to live up to is very, very good too.
Yeah, so some people, we got 2 minutes left. I think we might just ramble around this for another little bit. Now we got to go. Something I would just say, just kind of on that with identity is, you know, some people have two identities. I talk to people all the time. You know, the split personality. And it's like there's someone Monday to Friday, another person Saturday and Sunday. You know, it's like that's a problem. It's like, are you one person at work and you're another person at home? It's like if the person your higher self versus your animalistic self is like if you something, you know, if you don't incorporate your shadow, I suppose another way to think your shadow self and, you know, your aware self, your conscious self, that maybe another way to think about it is like if you are acting out of alignment with who you want to be, it's like you need to figure out a way to incorporate those two and become one person, because that's, again, now we're into the balance. Back to balance. It's like finding the balance is like between, it's like if you repress your nutrition, if you repress your enjoyment and just slog it Monday to Friday, and then it's like, right, Friday, just hit the fuck it or the switch off button. It's like there's gonna be what would you say? A snapback. Exactly.
Yeah, because I could think of it like another person who you're just being like, no, you're not good enough here. Fuck off.
Back to the horse analogy. Fuck you, horse.
Yeah.
Do what I say. You're gonna get bucked off that horse.
Exactly. No, for real.
You're getting bucked off that horse. That horse is going its own way. Yeah, you get them reins off me. It's Friday night. Let's go.
Yeah.
Get off my back.
Oh, it's so true.
Full circle.
Okay, well, we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 more points in this thing that we were supposed to go through.
So that's 13 more podcasts at this rate.
Yeah,
if you want part 4, let us know. Let us know.
All right, guys, that's the end of that one.
That's enough.
Hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Brandon, it was a pleasure.
What we would really, really appreciate, if you find these conversations helpful, just tell your friends, tell your granny, tell your old one, tell your fella, you know, there's a podcast worth listening to. This is what it's about. I think you'd love it. Share it with them. We'd really appreciate it.
Peace.